So this is the 2005 Porsche Cayenne S 4.5 naturally aspirated. In a video coming soon, I'll be doing the spark plugs and ignition coils. I already have the covers off of them. I was doing something else to it. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was these hoses here. And this one got left off. That one was broken already, so I just left it off. But I intend on doing a electric power steering pump conversion. This power steering pump doesn't have the guts to be able to hold up to constant turning. The power steering pump, I don't know if you can see, is down in here. That's a tension there. Power steering pump is there just below it. See if I can get it to focus on it. There you are. That's the power steering pump. So if you look online, they don't show a power steering pump conversion for this car at all. Or it's technically not a car, it's be more like a truck. They have many different electric power steering pumps. And for this specific application, it would only need a 2-wire, which would be a ground and a hot. And then you have a reservoir hose, which would come up here, or you can have that as a return line. I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to go with yet, but your alternative line is going to be a high pressure line, which in this instance does still go into a regular rubber ended line here. On the back side of the power steering pump, you have a return line, and then you have a pressure line. So the power steering pump that I will get, I'll probably have to adapt it to some sort of AN line to be able to fit the power steering pump that's on here. And then it would just run back up with the return line itself. So in doing this is going to offer two things. One is going to get rid of that aggravating power steering pump that cost well over $800, even from Parts Geek. The local parts store doesn't have it. I haven't found any other vehicle that has the same power steering pump, but it would get rid of this reservoir. It would get rid of that power steering pump down there. It would be much more reliable. And I have a tap right here that would allow me to connect to it. So this is probably a 100 amp wire tap for a jump post. It's right up under this here. It has to be a fusible link. It has to be able to go up to 80 amps, I believe. Is when you put the power steering pump under load, it's going to load it down severely. And you either want one of two things. You want it to be on a switch, or you want it to be able to shut on and off when the car is on or off. Ideally, you'd like for it to be on when the engine comes on. So I think this post right here is directly connected to the battery saver. So I may be wrong, but if I'm not wrong, then this would be where I would connect it to. If for whatever reason I can't connect it right here, I would have to see if there is another pump that has an on and off switch but also has power and ground. So my power would go here, my ground would go to the block that's right here. Both of these are within 6 inches of one another. And then my on and off switch, which would be directly connected to an accessory switch, would be wired to wherever I can find an on and off switch. That's not going to pull any amps. What's going to pull the amps is where it's connected to the hot and the ground. And yes, both of those will pull amps. But that video will be in the near future. This video here will be coming much sooner than that. And I'm fairly certain that based off of the oil that is on this wire right here, I'll be doing a valve cover or gasket job on this as well. I will record that entire video, but for now, this is a look-see under the engine cover of a Porsche 955 Cayenne. I have this hose already as well, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it. It's a little kinked up right there, and I don't want that. These clips normally just come right off. It's a little stiff. Just for the record, they don't need that vent. So your aftermarket ones, if you decide to go that route, don't require it. The method that I've used so far has worked nicely. And that is, I think this is a 1-inch hose or 3/4 inch hose. 3/4 inch hose from AutoZone. Just connected it from here, which was on that fitting. That is the factory fitting as well. I cut the plastic casing off of it and then slid the hose on there. Did the same here, and on the opposite end. I'll eventually replace that as well. That was all taped together whenever I got this car, so I had no choice but to start replacing hoses. This, as you can see, is not tightened all the way down. This is vacuum, so you don't have to worry about it blowing off, but I'm going to put that back on in this video as well. Okay, so this hose was ordered from Amazon. I don't remember exactly what I put in to be able to find it, but I went to Google and searched for these hoses. They're crankcase vent hoses, and I found this one, thankfully. But I really need the other one that crosses over as well, but I don't want to go to Porsche to buy it. So that line is now fixed. I am keeping these because these are still in great shape, although that plastic end that went on here is broken. Be sure to put those right there where I can find them in the future. I will probably move them as soon as I start cleaning the trailer up, which needs to happen soon. And the hose clamp. I hate these hose clamps. They have a little tang on them that makes it impossible to be able to squeeze the hose clamp enough, which is the main reason why I left it off, because I was already frustrated with this thing. Alright, it's on there. Now, to put this piece back on, because if you don't, the engine won't run. It will instantly die as soon as it senses that leak. And that does have vacuum and crankcase pressure, so if it senses crazy crankcase pressure, then it'll instantly shut the vehicle back off. Thanks for watching.